In response to the massive protests at recent Republican town halls, Republicans in Arizona are pushing a bill to punish people for engaging in constitutionally protected speech. This is amazing here. Now, the legislation is called Senate Bill 1142. And basically what it does is it seeks to limit political demonstration by expanding the definition of a riot to include any sort of actions that damage property, and making rioting an offense that can be prosecuted under RICO racketeering laws. So basically what they're doing is they're essentially equating protests with domestic terrorism. Any protest that gets any violent damages any sort of property. Now, the legislation is written in a way that would allow protesters to be charged, even if they don't do anything, with rioting. Now, again, this is amazing. So if you're not there, if you plan a protest and you're not there, and somebody does something violent or somebody breaks property, you can be charged. It's essentially, if you even try to plan a protest and something happens, you can get linked to it. It is a thought crime that is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. All right. Again, even if you were not participating in a demonstration, you could still be charged. The bill's fact sheet explains that, quote, an overt action is not required to prove conspiracy. So let me break that down and explain what this actually means. Say you plan a peaceful protest march against a certain politician in Arizona, right? Now, if somebody in that protest, within the course of that protest, causes any sort of damage, whether or not they're actually with you or with the protest, you, as the planner of this protest, or somebody who is participating in this, can be charged under this law. Now, getting charged with this, again, since this is under federal RICO laws, racketeering, this is stuff that they use against the mob. Well, under this law, it also allows for civil asset forfeiture, just like it would under anything related to mobsters. So basically what this means is that the police can charge you for a riot and then take your house, take your car, take your phone, everything under this. Civil asset forfeiture on steroids. God, this is amazing. You don't even have to be there, too. And that's probably one of the worst parts of this whole shit bill. You just have to be tied to planning this protest. That's the whole conspiracy part of it. I've never seen anything so anti-American as this piece of legislation. Absolutely amazing. Not only that, but again, it's not like there haven't been agitators that have gotten into protests to cause problems. Under this bill, people who are politically opposed to you or opposed to the aims of the march say this is an anti-Trump protest. And pro-Trump people decide they want to get into it. And it doesn't even have to be Trump. It doesn't even have to be, Democrats that get infiltrated. It could be on the other side. Say Republicans want to have a protest, and you have an agitator on the left that wants to come in. They damage property. Suddenly, that entire protest, everyone in it, everyone that has planned it, can be arrested and have their shit stolen by the police. And that's what this is. This is theft. No, what this is, this whole bill is straight up fascism. And that's a word that should not be thrown around lightly. Straight up fascism. And the whole purpose is to chill free speech and to make people afraid of doing the most American thing that they can do, and that is protest. That is can air their grievances against government. And look, here's what they're blaming this thing on? The whole justification for this? The so-called paid protesters showing up at town halls. Oh, they are so afraid. They're so afraid. Oh my God, I don't want to be challenged by these protests. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to make it almost illegal to protest. Because if anybody gets violent, or if anybody, one person, smashes a mailbox or tips over a trash can, that's it. The entire protest. Criminals. This is anti-American shit. There's absolutely, speaking of paid protests, right? There are absolutely zero, there's no proof that any of these people are paid to protest, by the way. And let's just get that out of the way. Now, it's funny that they're using this because remember, Donald Trump and even Hillary Clinton, by the way, had paid people at their rallies. They paid people to be there. That's the only case, right? But here's the thing. These protests, nobody has to pay people to show up to protect their health care and Social Security. That stuff is on the chopping block. So, of course, they're going to show up to protect that stuff. These are your actual constituents, guys. People in Arizona. And look, to be fair, you have some Republicans that are like, oh, my God, this goes a little too far, dude. And they actually push back against this whole paid protester narrative. In fact, you have Representative Leonard Lance of New Jersey. He's a Republican. Now, he said, quote, no, these are real people. These protesters, they're my constituents. I know. In fact, he told CNN's New Day, quote, I always try to speak truthfully. I believe, for example, those at my town hall meeting last night were not paid. And if White House believes that many of those town hall meetings have been paid, I think that is an inaccurate statement. He's saying, look, if you think that these people are all paid, you're lying. That is inaccurate, sir. He also said, I believe that most of those at my town hall meeting last night were there based upon being constituents in the district. And I was pleased to be able to interact with them. And that's what a politician is supposed to do. Now, you also had Chuck Grassley, who, remember, I showed you a video of him getting savaged by some of the people at his town hall. Even he's out there saying, no, I know, these are my constituents. There's no evidence that any of these people are paid to infiltrate and disguise themselves as my angry constituents. These are my constituents. Now, you also have, weirdly enough, Representative Mark Sanford, another Republican from South Carolina, telling CNN that the crowd at his most recent town hall event was only comprised of, quote, real people with real concerns of what comes next on health care. He said some had come to the event from outside his congressional district. However, but everyone in his crowd, he says, to his knowledge, was from South Carolina. Quote, this wasn't an artificial crowd. It wasn't manufactured. These are my constituents. And yeah, some people, they might be mad at me for some of the stuff that I want to do on healthcare, but at least admit that these people are my people. And these are the people that I'm supposed to represent. Weirdly enough, these Republicans are the ones that get it. These are the Republicans that actually deserve recognition for admitting reality that, yeah, these are my people. These are not fake protesters. Now, would it be nice if somebody in Arizona told these Republicans that? The ones that are pushing this bill. In fact, you should probably tell Sonny Borelli. Sonny Borelli is the state senator who sponsored this incredibly anti-American bill. So here's what you can do. You can get a hold of his office. Blow up his phones. I'll have contacts, ways to contact him in the description of this video. Let him know. When you call him up, be respectful. Let him know that you're not a paid protester, but somebody who's a real American, who doesn't believe in this fascist crap that he is trying to pull. Blow up his phones. Blow up his email. Let him know that we do not let it fly here in America. That we allow protest. That we care about free speech. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.